I don't care about gold or silver prices anymore. That sounds a little bit of a strange thing to say. It sounds weird saying it out loud. I've been mulling this over in my mind for the last couple of days as to what I would talk about into this video, and I thought what better time than a first beautiful day of spring to do a bit of a reflection on why I really don't care anymore about the price of silver and gold. Very fortunate to have had a lot of gold and silver that has appreciated very nicely over that time. But what does that mean for me as an individual, as a stacker, as a business owner? There's a lot to consider going forwards, not just from a stacking perspective. When do I profit take? When do I take all of this out? Hint, it'll be over my cold dead body, I think, because there's a lot more room for silver and gold to grow. But also, what does it mean for my business? A lot to think about in this crazy world of precious metal prices. And this is why I don't care. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another Precious Metal Ramble where we have down-to-earth discussions about all things precious and shiny. Now we're filming in the back garden today because spring has sprung. It's like the first day of the year where it hasn't bloody rained in the UK, so I thought I'd come out and I'd have a bit of a reflection on the price of gold and silver, because I've kind of come to the realization that I kind of don't care anymore about the price of gold and silver. As an investor, as a private investor, of course, I care about the price of gold and silver when it comes to running a precious metals business. Of course, the prices, I've talked about this before on the channel, it's affecting our business and how we can be sustainable in that long term for the Backyard Bullion poured silver business. But at the same time, I am an investor in gold and silver, and that has gone very well over the last few months. And when those prices reached those peaks that we saw in the end of January, I kind of realized, well, I'm not selling, so why do I even really care about the price? And it's really got me thinking about what I want to achieve with my gold and silver investments over that long period of time, and whether or not those goals are changing, evolving. So I thought I'd talk through it on today's video. So hopefully you'll enjoy the ambience of the beautiful springtime sounds, and you may hear my crazy dog running around in the background. She may even bark once or twice, we'll see. If you are enjoying our content and style by which we talk about precious metals, then please do consider subscribing. We're at 95,000 and we're on our way to 100,000 subscribers. And talking of 100,000 subscribers, what better reason to subscribe than for a chance to win this? This is going to be our 100,000 subscriber giveaway grand prize, a 1 kilo elemental silver cube that I have made. So make sure you subscribe and find out more about that in due course. So, the big statement that might get a few eyebrows going up and down is that I don't care about the price of silver or gold anymore. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm buying more gold and silver because I don't really care about the price? Well, I'm not really accumulating any more gold and silver for my own personal stack and investments just at this moment in time. The reason being is because I've got some already, and that's a really nice position to be in, and I guess that's part of the reason why I don't really care anymore. You know, I've been very fortunate in life to have savings, to have the ability to save, the ability to work and earn and save. And of course, we've got a family unit in that Mrs. Backyard Bullion has also been working and saving, and we've done the good path for precious metals. We've bought a long time ago and we've held for a long time. But we've not achieved our goals with what we wanted from our precious metals. Now, I'll argue that originally my goals were to buy this, sell it, make a profit. But as with all good things, you learn. And I've learned a lot about the world of precious metals in my 9 years of content creation, 10 years this year in fact, and my time as an investor in precious metals. And also my time as an investor in other things as well. Stocks, shares, money, cash, savings accounts, lots of different things I've invested in over my lifetime. And gold and silver feel different to all those other things. And that's why I kind of don't care now, because this stuff feels better than all the others. Now, you can say that with a nice sort of gleeful grin on your face because you've seen the price triple, quadruple, and that's always a nice thing. I mean, if every single stock and share I'd owned had quadrupled, that would be marvellous, but that's just not normal. But it does feel like that we have managed to catch up with silver and gold as to where they really kind of should be right now. And the future of where they are going excites me no end. So to the point that I don't care is kind of an understatement in that I do care, because it's nice to see your money and the value of your money go up over time as you hold those investments. But also, I'm not selling anytime soon. I'm really not selling any of my gold anytime soon. I might sell some of my silver at some point, but I will trade that in for gold. But at the same time, and I said this when silver hit that peak just at the end of January, I don't want to right now, because I think there's even more room for silver to go up. Now, a lot of channels right now, and I'm not going to criticize individual content creators. They can do what they like on their own channels. It's their own channels after all. But a lot of channels right now are talking about the price of gold and silver, what to buy if you haven't got any, where to buy it from, and the kinds of things that they think are good, or that could be a good win that you could make a lot of money on right now. And that's fine. That's their kettle of fish. What I'd say though is, if you are looking to buy right now, my seasoned investment head on my shoulders would say, when I got started buying silver, the price was around £12 an ounce, and just 10 years before that, the price was £2 an ounce. And so it had already seen a quintupling. So from my perspective, can I see another quintupling of silver from today? Yes, I can. What time frame will that be over? Another 10 years, 20 years? I don't know. But I've already got the silver that I want to accumulate. I don't want to go and put more money into it right now. The only thing I want to do is to perhaps sell some of this to get more of this, and then at some point maybe sell some of this to leverage onto this. That's the sort of mentality that I've got right now. But that's a position of sort of gleeful fortitude that I've managed to accumulate a stack of precious metals prior to the recent price increases. But what if you don't have any right now? Well, yeah, certainly there is an argument to be said that silver can go up in price, and we've seen it recover from, so it went to those like £80 plus an ounce, $120 plus an ounce, and it crashed back down to like $70, 50 odd, £55 an ounce. Now we're at 67, 68 pounds an ounce, closing in on that $100 an ounce mark again. I think we're going to see that continue to go up over time, and that pushback, that pullback in price has now meant that there is a buying opportunity for people. And if I didn't have anything right now and I was getting into this and seeing it, I would think that I would maybe look to buy some silver, but I would want to do it in the right way. Of course, I've talked about this before. VAT, taxation, premiums on stuff like this is hard right now, for sure, 100%. And it is a big risk if you're going to be going and buying from dealers at X price. There are people who bought at the peak and they were paying I can't remember what it was now. It's like £130, £140 an ounce for silver from dealers with the VAT, with the tax on top, for just bullion grade stuff. Like cheap, nasty coins like this would still get £100 plus on eBay and various different Facebook groups and forums. And it's like, well, is that really likely? Because right now, you take a dinged up, not particularly nice condition maple leaf to a bullion dealer, you're going to get spot, probably less than spot. Most dealers will give you less than spot after they see the condition of these. So there's a big risk and there's a big swing in that. But if you've got your head in the right place and you want to keep this for a very long time, then I would argue that it doesn't really matter. And so if you are looking to buy right now, I've done this topic before, if I didn't have anything, would I buy right now? Maybe I would. Maybe I would indeed. I would want to do it right though. I wouldn't want to go over leveraged on myself. I want to make sure that what I'm buying is the right kind of product for my portfolio. And I'd want to make sure that I'm holding it for the right commensurate amount of time. Gold and silver aren't a get-rich-quick scheme. They never have been. It feels like they have been over the last couple of weeks and months, though. And that's kind of done silver and gold a little bit of a bad favour in a way. Or maybe not gold and silver a bad favour, but what it's done is it has made, I think a lot of people have reared up their attention towards gold and silver. People who prior to this were in the Bitcoin bubbles and were in the stocks and shares, the penny stocks that go parabolic. There are opportunities outside of gold and silver, despite our echo chamber that we live in on YouTube, where there are content creators. Listen, rightly or wrongly, is up to each individual content creator and person and viewer to decide. But a lot of people saying the dip was now or never, and to a certain degree, I would agree. But you've got to do it right, and right's for you. You can't just go all in on something. So just remember that as a seasoned stacker. Because I did a thought experiment the other week where I was talking about if I just kept all the silver. You have to excuse, there's a helicopter. They're coming for me, the feds, they're coming for me. It's flying overhead, so you'll have that noise in the background, breaking up the idyllic spring noises. But I did the thought experiment where if I just bought all the silver that I've accumulated over these years, I hadn't sold it for my business, then I would have made £1.7 million, if not more, because I could potentially have had more leverage at the beginning of that adventure. I mean, you look at some of the prices I've paid over my lifespan for this coin here, £475 I paid for this, if you can see it. Do you know what? I can't even see the viewfinder on my camera, so God knows if this is all in focus, but hopefully it is. £475 for this. It's like just under half an ounce of gold, so you're looking at this now being worth, what, like £1,800? No, £1,900. So you can see that this has nearly quadrupled since I bought it, and that's just glorious. Now look, I want to just round out this video by talking a little bit before the bloody feds come and get me. Crikey, the helicopter's taken its time to go over. But what I want to also just quickly finish out on is the poured silver side of my business. So it's a bit cold and callous to say that I don't care about the price of silver, because I abundantly do when I have to create a business that sells precious metals on a weekly and monthly and annual basis. And that can be quite challenging right now because, and here's the sort of rundown. In any business, you run on a margin. So you buy products, or you buy materials, you manufacture your products, or you retail your materials and you retail your products, and then you've got a product, you've got a percentage, you've got a profit at the end, hopefully. So right now, if I was to buy silver for my raw materials, which I have to, and I am buying, then I take time to manufacture something. I have annual release schedules to look at. I don't just sell things any day of the week. I have to match my sort of turnover from the previous years because of the VAT registration threshold and sales, all of this crap that's in the UK. So if I buy raw materials now, or I was buying raw materials in December, January, and then the price falls out the bottom of the market, like it has, and I can't get the commensurate price for the products that I want to sell, I'm ending up either working for free or working for a loss, or working at, I could argue even that working for a loss is the worst thing, but working for like a 10% margin when you're selling, £90, £100 an ounce product, it's just not worth it. And that's really sad to say, because, and unfortunately that's just the nature of the business that I'm in. Like, it was okay, like our percentages on premiums of our poured silver has never been lower, because when we were what I've tried to do is add £10 an ounce on top of the silver as a profit margin. Now when I was at the lower end of the scale, if I was buying raw material for £25 an ounce, selling it for 35 after costs, so 37, 38, that would give me around £10 an ounce profit, and that would kind of be, it's a nice percentage. That's good. That's something that you can de-risk on, de-leverage on if price drops, if you're restocking, and it can be a well thought out sort of business. But right now, when your margin is £10 an ounce on £100 an ounce retail, all it takes is silver to drop £10 an ounce, and suddenly I'm really struggling to break even on my product. And that's a risk, and because then you're spending more money on product, you spend more money on raw material, to get that small 10%. And for me, I just don't necessarily think it's a horrible thing to say, but I just don't genuinely think I care enough to put that much risk on myself financially. After everything we've built, after all and this is where businesses come unstuck. This is where businesses fall down. You run businesses the way you run them. Life's good. We've been in this real great position in silver for such a long time. It's felt so cheap, and there are so many different businesses out there that have done it. Now, if you're a business in silver, and this goes for anyone who's poured silver or buying retail silver and being a bedroom bullion dealer, you've got to evolve. You've got to change with the times. So I'm saying that it's not that I don't care about the brand of Backyard Bullion and the business of Backyard Bullion and pouring silver, but we've got to evolve, we've got to change somehow to do things, and to change it up to make sure that we're not going to be putting myself financially, putting what we've built over 10 years at risk, because I can see, and this is where like economies of scale come in, this is where businesses go, well, if I'm only going to make a 10% margin, I've got to make the same amount of profit in a year. I've got to suddenly sell a lot more. And I don't have the capital to do that. When I told my origin story, I did a business plan for Mrs. Backyard Bullion right when we got started, when I said to her I wanted to do poured silver in the backyard. And here I am sitting, we've moved house since then, but sitting in the backyard once again talking about precious metals. And if I was to do a business plan today, it would require 5, 6, 7 times as much capital to do. And so some businesses would look at that and go, well, it's an opportunity, isn't it? Let's go big. But going big means you have to add VAT, sales tax. Yes, you can claim back some VAT on the silver that you buy, but the moment premiums are so high and the product availability is so difficult to come by in volume. I need 40 odd kilos of silver a year to source. You can't just go and buy that from the Silver Forum. You have to use dealers. So my mentality is evolve or die, figuratively, on the channel, on the brand. And there will be an evolution at some point. I don't know what that evolution will look like at some point. Fortunately, unlike a lot of my peers within this sphere of influence, of which there are so many now, which is incredible, by the way. I should really do sort of a retrospective on that at some point and really focus on some of the incredible talent that's out there in terms of not just poured silver, but content creation. There's so many amazing content creators here in the UK now, and silver pourers as well. But I have the fortunate position to be sitting on a YouTube channel with 95,000 subscribers, coming into 100,000 subscribers, and I have got sponsors, and I've got other income revenue streams, and I have things like the Backyard Bullion Buyers Club that we have as a way to sort of earn a living. So I'm not worried about the future, and it's kind of why I don't care. Again, it's a bit of a horrible thing to say, but it's not that I don't care. It's just that I know that I'll be right. And that's the thing that I think is most important for anyone, like anyone in business, anyone in life. If you feel okay, if you feel comfortable, that's the best place to be. I'm not worried that tomorrow, selling all my poured silver across a year might become unsustainable. I'm not worried about that at all. But there will be an evolution at some point, and we're looking at what that evolution might be. And it kind of feels right to have that evolution around the 10-year mark. Now, for those that are worried or looking to what that evolution might be and thinking, oh God, what are you going to do? Are you quitting? I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting at all. I have here proof that I'm not quitting, because if I could open the bloody box, fresh back from the Edinburgh Assay office, we've got some of our 1 ounce bars for 2026. The annual products for this year will happen. They will all be coming out as we've done every year. We'll make it work somehow or another. The release schedule, for those that care, where we're at 16, 17 minutes into the video, is the 1 ounce bars will be out in May, June, as they are every year. The 100 gram versions will be out September, October, or August, September, October, and the round versions, the 3, the 1, the 5 ounce versions will be out November, December. That's the same we've done every year. Those will still happen. So we'll be doing those. Business as usual. But where it will be in the future, I have to wait and see. I've got some ideas. I've got a lot of ideas, actually. I've got some ideas of other little things I want to do, businesses I want to run or try, avenues of interest that interest me more than maybe even YouTube, but I think I'll be on YouTube for a while yet. That's for me, today's video. Thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the idyllic sounds of spring. No Cool Kids Club comment today. What I'll say is that you're all cool. So if you just comment, that's enough for me. See you on the next video. As always, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.